speaker, Megan Fitz. Megan is a graduating senior in illustration, and Megan has fans. Come on up, Megan.
The American dancer and choreographer Agnes DeMille stated, "The artist never entirely knows. We guess. We may be wrong, but we take leap after leap in the dark." 4 years ago, I began life as an art student at a community college in the middle of nowhere, Missouri. I was interested in everything from painting to pixel art, from ceramics to creative writing. I wanted to know more about art history, about the lives of the artists we so loved. Michelangelo getting his nose broken after fixing a Pierce drawing. Caravaggio mysteriously killing a young man. I wanted to soak in all the knowledge I possibly could. But there were times that I had little confidence in the artwork I was producing. Even though I found solace in the process and wanted to keep making things, even though I was getting good feedback and support from my teachers, I struggled with depression to the point that I believed that no one in the outside world would want to listen to my stories. My teachers encouraged me to continue my studies, and because I had connections through them, I came to KCAI. When I was accepted as a junior in the illustration department, I was ecstatic to be a part of this group of immensely talented, hardworking individuals. But coming to school was also a major shock. Moving to a new city, a new school, being exposed to new ideas such as branding and children's book design and actually making money with your art, and having no friends. It was a very lonely time, so I did the only thing I could do. I made art. Every day I was working hard, pumping out piece after piece, and trying to prove myself as a good enough artist to my peers, teachers, and myself. I was taking a full load of 18 credit hours, learning about Marx and Kierkegaard and Banksy and Blue, writing research papers and memorizing images, poaching eggs in my ramen, and getting paint on all my favorite clothes. And at the same time, losing lots of sleep and getting sick more frequently. For several months in my first year here, I was toying with the idea of dropping out of art school. Being a transfer student, I lacked the same experiences my classmates had. They understood composition, color, and subject matter in ways I had never imagined. I looked up to everybody in my department as amazing artists, and I didn't feel like I could ever achieve their artistic level. But I don't know how to quit, I only know how to work hard, and people were starting to notice. In the spring semester of my junior year, I was one of 5 students nominated by the faculty for the Eisner Scholar Award, an award that celebrates students aiming to become comic artists. But it wasn't the award that mattered to me, but rather the immense encouragement and support that I felt from my new teachers here. And it was then that I started to have a little bit more confidence in myself. I began to look at the world a little bit differently. I had these stories to tell, and people were starting to listen. I learned that I didn't have to prove myself to myself anymore, but rather I just had to find my voice and take the initiative. That's when the world opened up to me, and my dreams of making comics and writing stories and being a good artist began to turn into real attainable goals that I could actually accomplish and not just dream about. I was encouraged to continue making, and possibly one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that what you put into art school is what you will receive. You have to pursue what you want. Meeting artists and making connections can be daunting though. I've often been asked the same question, how did you get a mentorship with Nathan Fox, who is our illustration department's favorite comic artist and storyteller? My answer was always the same. I asked. You don't have to perform a blood ritual or sacrifice a virgin goat on the 4th full moon of the summer while wearing pink fishnet stockings just to meet someone in your industry. Just take the initiative, go ask and see what happens. We're all artists. Our stories may be different, but we all know the struggle. We all do our best to keep making art and keep telling the world our stories. Even people like Nathan Fox, like Hector Casanova, like Jeff Koons and Willem de Kooning, maybe even that crazy Caravaggio, have all had sleepless nights and trouble paying the rent, have struggled throughout their lives to be the artists they become. They have the experiences that we haven't had yet. They've made the mistakes we've never seen. They've failed where we haven't had the opportunity yet. There's always some fear and risk involved when doing something we love so passionately. But these artists we love prove that it's worth it in the end. When I was working with Nathan on my mentorship project, he said he had been trying to get me to take a leap of faith, but at the time I was apprehensive. I wasn't ready to jump, so instead I set the story aside. It was a difficult decision to make, but that opened up a new opportunity for me to tell a new and better story. 4 years ago, were you doing the same thing that you are now? The same series, the same style, the same interests? Starting out in foundations, did anyone know exactly where they wanted to be headed 4 years ago? Through countless sleepless nights, plenty of spilled paints and glues, forgotten meals and projects you wanted nothing more than to burn, and various instructors whose names you'll forever have etched in your mind. We've all changed dramatically in the 4, 5, 6, 7 years since we started college. We've been given the tools to forge our own path and to write our own story. We've gone through the risks and have made new relationships and new discoveries about ourselves. And here we stand. We have finished the first step in the adventure of our adult lives. We've made an emerging accomplishment. You don't need anybody else's approval today. Be proud of yourselves. Today we celebrate. We have earned it. Tomorrow we will go back to work and start telling the next story. The path ahead might be filled with opportunity, with internships and job offers, or your path may be as blank as a fresh canvas, a wet piece of clay, a glowing white screen. You might be scared of what lies ahead, and sometimes life intervenes and makes things more difficult. But if there are just 3 things that I've learned while I was here, it'd be these. 1, if it makes you nervous, if you get butterflies dancing cartwheels in your stomach, then it's probably worth pursuing. 2, you have the tools now. The connections you've made and the skills you've learned are worth more than simply the name of the school on your resume. And 3, only you can write your own story. Don't let anyone else do it for you. At the end of the day, when you're lying in bed staring at those glow-in-the-dark star stickers, I hope you're happy. That no matter what you do, it's because you're taking the initiative and taking steps towards fulfilling your goals. I want you to go out and tell the world your stories. You're fully fledged artists now, so take that initiative. Tell the stories only you can tell, the way only you can tell them. Tell the world the story of the squirrel's journey through the perilous poppy field to get the perfect peanuts. Tell the story that graffiti is a valid and beautiful art form. Tell the story about how youth are becoming more active in the political scene. You have stories that are unique to you and a vision that only you can see. So go out in the world and take leaps in the dark. Use your voice and tell the stories the world needs to know. Take a leap of faith and jump. The author Neil Gaiman said, "Sometimes you wake up, sometimes the fall kills you, and sometimes when you fall, you fly." Thank you.